Salesforce Summer 14 release. I'm Chad Collette. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Ledgeview Partners, and I want to thank you for joining us today to learn more about how you can take advantage of the exciting, innovative new features and updates that the Salesforce.com product team has put together for this amazing 2014 summer release. I'd like to start by answering probably the most asked question during any webinar. Is this webinar being recorded? The answer is definitely yes. Later this afternoon, you'll get an email from me with a link to access this webinar on demand. And we definitely encourage you to share this with others in your company and within your network. We've allotted 60 minutes for today's session, and our presenter, Mark Masterson, has roughly 50 minutes of material to cover. And then we'll field as many questions as we have time for. When Salesforce did their training on the Summer 14 release, they did it in 6 hours over 2 days. So packing into less than an hour is a challenge for sure. But I know Mark has picked some of the coolest features to show you today. So to achieve the best audio quality, we have everybody in listen-only mode. But if you have a question at any time throughout the webinar, you can enter those in the question pane in your GoToWebinar control panel in the lower right, and we'll address those at the end as we have time. But before I introduce Mark, I'd like to take a minute to introduce our company, Ledgeview Partners. I know on the webinar today we have several of our customers attending who are very familiar with us, and I want to thank you for your business. We also have a lot of people who may not know Ledgeview, so let me give you the quick dime tour of who we are. Now, the very best way to see who and what Ledgeview is all about is to watch our 90-second video located on our homepage at ledgeviewpartners.com. We had a ton of fun making this video. Really encourage you to watch it and enjoy it. At Ledgeview Partners, we focus on CRM. In fact, CRM is all we do. When Ledgeview started, back in 2007, a conscious decision was made to not be all things to all companies, but be very, very good at one thing, customer relationship management. Now, Ledgeview is a Salesforce.com Cloud Alliance partner, as well as a Microsoft Dynamics CRM Gold Certified partner, and a member of their President's Club, Inner Circle, and Partner Advisory Council. But more important than any accolades that we're given is the great relationships we've built with our loyal customers over the years, and that's what really drives Ledgeview Partners, and is reflected by our 98% customer retention rate, which is by far our favorite statistic. So now I'm excited to introduce Mark Masterson, who's with us today, to talk about all the great stuff that Salesforce gave users with the new Summer 14 release. Mark is a Salesforce.com development consultant here at Ledgeview Partners, and is a certified Force.com developer, as well as a certified Salesforce Administrator. So I guess he knows what he's talking about. Mark is also one of our primary bloggers here at Ledgeview who loves talking about Salesforce each week and arm users with news, product reviews, release previews, and tips and tricks that allow you to get more out of Salesforce. So Mark, I know I'm eating up all your precious time, so that's enough for me. So how about we talk about this awesome Summer 14 release?
Sounds good to me, Chad. Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Masterson. Thank you for the introduction, Chad. Today we're going to be doing an overview of the Summer 14 release and how you can take advantage of it. As many of you who use Salesforce know, and for those who don't know, Salesforce does 3 major releases every year. They do a spring release, a summer release, and a winter release. So right here we have the Summer 14 release that just got released last week to everyone. They usually do a phased approach through all their servers, but everyone should be updated at this point. The nice thing about a cloud-based system is that everyone gets the latest version. There's no people being left behind on Winter 14 at this point. Everyone at this point is on Summer 14. So that makes getting the newest update very awesome. The main things that have been happening this release is a lot of enhancements and tweaks to the Salesforce1 app. For those who don't know, Salesforce1 is the mobile app that Salesforce has released for both iOS, which is your iPads and your iPhones, and Android operating system, which is all the devices that can run Android, so your Nexus tablets and your Samsung devices. There is not a Windows 8 app yet for their store, but you can use the mobile browser, and there's no BlackBerry yet. There's a lot of enhancements they did this go round, so they've made a lot of tweaks and enhancements. They added a lot of features that people had been asking for, so we'll go over those. There's also been a lot of introduction to new beta and pilot features. These are features that won't be available to an out-of-the-box organization, but they can be enabled if you ask Salesforce to enable them for you. And then the caveat to that, of course, is that it is a beta or pilot feature, so it is not fully baked and production ready. So there may be flaws within the feature at this time. So I'll go over the beta and pilot features that are being released. I will also be going over the Salesforce for Outlook enhancements. They did quite a few things with that. The Salesforce for Outlook is a connector from Salesforce organization to your Outlook desktop client, so that you're able to integrate those two pieces of software and get them together. So I'll go over those enhancements. They also made the Salesforce Files feature, which had previously been in beta, generally available in this release, so it is now production ready and you can start using it today. What that does is adds a Dropbox-like functionality. So we'll be going over how that goes, and I'll also be doing a demo of that feature. And there's also a number of quality, what I would call quality of life improvements that they made in this release. They're not necessarily groundbreaking, but they're just features that are excellent to your overall quality of life, either as an administrator or a user.
Hey, Mark, could you just speak up just a little bit?
Yeah, like
A couple people are having trouble hearing you.
High-level planning thing for them.
Yeah, I can speak up there. Okay.
I'm just watching Mark's thing.
So one first thing I wanted to go over that came out in this new release is the Salesforce notification banner. This is something new that they came out with. If you go on the setup page of Salesforce, you'll see this nice little banner splayed across the top under your tabs. I put a big no here because I don't like this feature, and this is customizable that you can get rid of this in the user interface settings. So my first recommendation with the new release is just to turn this off. I think everyone who's using Salesforce is aware of Salesforce1 with all the marketing that they're doing around it, and unless and until they make this banner customizable so that you can send notifications to your users, I would just recommend turning this off. All right, on to the Salesforce1 enhancements. One of the biggest enhancements they made with the Summer 14 release is the two-day app. This is a feature that will be in your left-hand navigation screen on Salesforce1. This app syncs with your device's calendar. So let's say you have your iPhone and you have all your activities and events going on in your calendar. Once you have Salesforce1 downloaded and you activate the Today app and sync it, all your calendar events from your iPhone will go over into the Today app. Not only that, it will match the attendees on your events in your calendar to any contacts that exist in Salesforce. And it will also display contacts that do not exist in Salesforce. And it's very easy to add them into Salesforce from that, as well as adding the event itself. So it's just a very good way of syncing what's already on one device into Salesforce so that you don't have to do a bunch of manual entry. Another enhancement that they've made is that publisher actions will now work in organizations that have chatter turned off. Lots of organizations want to turn chatter off. They have other means of collaboration, either through Link or any number of other IM devices. So previously to this release, publisher actions in Salesforce1 would not work if you had chatter turned off. It just didn't exist. And now Salesforce has made it so that they can work with that turned off. One of the coolest features and enhancements to Salesforce1 is the ability to drill down to a report from a dashboard within the app. So just like how it works on the desktop, when you want to drill down to a report from a dashboard component, you just click in on it and it will take you right to the report. There's a few limitations currently with this implementation that's going on in Summer 14. The big ones are that you're only able to drill into summary and tabular reports at this time. Those are the only two report types. The other two, matrix and joined reports, currently do not function. They're not supported, and you'll just get an error that that's not supported if you attempt to do that. The other big caveat is that they will only display 100 records at maximum. So it's just a device limitation right now, that you only get 100 records. So if your report is doing 1,000, you'll only display 100, and you'd have to go to the full desktop site to get the full report. Once you're in the report, you'll be able to sort on columns very easily just by tapping, just like you would on the desktop site. Another change that they have made is that visual dashboard components previously would not work at all in Salesforce1. So if you had a Visual Force dashboard component, it would just display an error saying Visual Force cannot be displayed. Now they will function properly. The caveat there is that the Visual Force page that drives that dashboard component must be mobile optimized. So if it's not mobile optimized, it will blow up and look real big like it would on the desktop site. So you'll want to make your design responsive so that it functions normally on the desktop website and will also shrink its size and look good on the phone. And another change now is that previously only administrators could configure push notifications for users. They could control entirely what a user would get notified of. Now users themselves can configure their own push notifications. The settings you can set are when a chatter post mentions you, comments on your posts, posts to your profile, when someone assigns you a task, and requests for your approval. So those 5 things, you can all get notifications directly on your phone, just like you would when you get an email. It will show up in the top. You'll be able to go directly to that. So those are your Salesforce1 enhancements, the big ones. As I said, there's 30 of them in this release, so there's a lot of enhancements. I just picked the best of the bunch. The new beta and pilot features that are coming out in this iteration, there's a new enhancement called chatter questions. This is going to function very similarly to how Stack Overflow or Stack Exchange worked. If you have ever been to those sites, or if you've been to the existing success community that Salesforce runs, it will work very similar to that. What you will be able to do is type a question into chatter and then open it up to answers. People can answer the question, and then once you feel the best one has been given, you can select that as a best answer. What that will do is take it to the top, and it will be prominently displayed as the best answer. This allows you to tap in and collaborate with the rest of your organization and get their expert knowledge. And then not only that, but quantify that and have that be the best answer. Territory Management 2.0 is a new iteration of the territory management system in Salesforce. If anyone's using territory management today, they know there's a lot of caveats with using it. reporting and forecasting don't work very well with it. With Territory Management 2.0 that is currently in beta, it's a lot more complicated to set up, but once it is set up, it allows a lot of flexibility within your territory management model. What you do is there's a few new objects that they've created, and you create a model and map that to your sales agents. And then that allows you to assign accounts that come in out to people who are mapped within that model to your sales agents. So it allows easy assignment of the accounts. The very nice thing that I thought was the best feature about this new Territory Management 2.0 is that there's a preview button. So before you end up assigning all your accounts and you didn't set up your model correctly and they go to who knows who, you're able to preview how all the accounts will be assigned out before you activate the territory management. And once you verify that the preview is correct, then you can actually activate it, and that will assign out the accounts. So I thought that was good because no one wants to go through and manually correct all of that once it's done. And that'll be a nice relief to any administrators. Action links and feed is a new pilot. What this will allow people to do is put what Salesforce is calling action links into chatter posts. This allows users to click on them and do outbound messages so that you can have chatter directly interacting with other SOAP APIs and REST APIs. It should open up some interesting possibilities. Custom field forecasts is a new pilot, and I think this is something people have been wanting for a long time. The forecasting ability in Salesforce is very cool, but it also has some limits. This is going to get rid of some of those limits, and the main one of that is that Salesforce forecasting previously only went off the opportunity amount. Custom field forecast is going to allow you to have custom currency fields and for you to be able to roll those up into forecasts instead of just the opportunity amount. So let's say you had an estimated annual revenue forecast off of an opportunity. You could create that as a custom opportunity currency field, and then that will automatically roll up similar to how the current forecast functionality works. The big caveat there is that it has to be a custom currency field. So you won't be able to just do a number field or any other thing. It will need to be currency. Another new pilot that they're running is the ability to generate orders. This will allow you to automatically generate an order from an opportunity. The cool thing about this is that it will also open up a flow that allows you to create contracts automatically from these orders. So you can have your whole flow from opportunity to order to contract, all linked within Salesforce. They're also going to open up an API for that, so that you'll be able to do that all programmatically. The next gen knowledge search pilot is going to be very useful for people who are using knowledge search on any customer portals. This is going to offer autocomplete on titles and also as well as articles. So as they're typing in a question to search for a keyword or a title, it will automatically complete the 3 closest articles that match. Another cool thing is that this will also link up to chatter questions. So it'll also search through chatter questions and give them any best answers that they have as well. So it will really allow people to search your entire knowledge base and also as well the chatter question functionality to see what's already been answered before they open a case. Trigger-ready flows is a new pilot that I'm very excited about. It's been in pilot since the last iteration, but they've added some new functionality to it that's going to make it even more powerful. For those who aren't familiar with what the last iteration was, what Trigger Ready Flows is opening up is the visual workflow engine, which allows you to map out visually a business process and step from one business process to another within that workflow. And for anyone who's used it, it offers a lot of functionality. You can have, it's basically a wizard style interface where you have a form and people can enter information into that form. And then you can do business logic on what's entered. And then from that, you can create or modify Salesforce records. What this opens up is the ability to trigger these from a workflow rule instead of just having it be a button. So let's say someone updates a contact field and you have a trigger ready flow built off of that contact update. Then you can have this whole visual workflow set up that will make all these other updates. You can update other records, other objects, and do all of that from that one update, instead of just having a field update or an outbound message going out or an email alert. Really what it does is it enables admins and power users to do things that were previously only possible with Apex. The new feature that they're adding with Summer 14 to Trigger Ready Flows is the ability to iterate over a collection. So once I have that contact update in my previous example, I could query all the accounts and gather those ones that had a matching domain name, let's say. So it's really going to offer a lot of powerful functionality to people who don't necessarily know how to code. And it's also still going to allow you to use the Apex plugin within Visual Workflow. So even if something is out of the realm of Visual Workflow, you can just stick some Apex into it to fill in that gap in functionality. I'm very excited for that feature to become generally available eventually. Salesforce for Outlook has gotten quite a few enhancements this go around. The side panel functionality of Salesforce for Outlook is now going to be available in Contact Manager and Group Editions. So it is basically now available for every edition of Salesforce. Previously it was not available in these editions, and it just adds a lot of functionality that I think Salesforce wanted to give everybody. The side panel publisher menu can now be customized, and I will be showing this in a demo shortly. And administrators can now schedule logouts for Salesforce for Outlook. So previously, if you have Salesforce for Outlook, it starts a session whenever that user starts Outlook, and the session wouldn't log out until that person closed Outlook. With this new functionality, an administrator can schedule that logout so that someone isn't logged in forever as long as they have their computer on. All right, let's take a look at the new Salesforce for Outlook. Here you can see my side panel right here. If you have Salesforce for Outlook currently in your system and you have the side panel set up, this should look familiar, this blue bar here. You can see that I have Jolinda as a contact in Salesforce. So she's showing up, and you can see her activities and her activity history. As well as you can see that it's grabbing all the contacts that are recipients in this email. They're all displayed, and I can see all the information that's currently in Salesforce. You can also see that it's very easy to add this particular email and add it into Salesforce under that contact. The new feature is this publisher. So out of the box, you get the new task, new contact, opportunity, case, and lead. So that makes it very easy to create any of these directly from Salesforce for Outlook. What Summer 14 has introduced is the ability to add custom and customize this any way you want. Here you'll see this new call report. Call report is a custom object that I've created in Salesforce. So it didn't exist previously at all. And now I've added it into Salesforce, and I've added it into Salesforce for Outlook. So now I can create a new call report directly from this system right here. It will give you a simplified publisher menu, and then it will search a lot. The search functionality has also been updated. And we're having technical difficulties, so we'll just go back to the PowerPoint. Sorry about that, everyone. All right, now we'll go to Salesforce for Files. Salesforce Files has been in beta up till this point. It really stems from a Dropbox-like functionality. So if you've ever used Dropbox at all, either on your home computer or in the office, this is very, very similar to that. It basically syncs your files in Salesforce with your desktop. How that works in practicality is that when you download it, it creates a Salesforce Files folder on your desktop. Anything you put in that Salesforce Files folder is then stored and synced in Salesforce. The big caveat here is that the maximum file size is 500 megabytes. So if you're going to stick like a 2 gig video into your Salesforce Files folder, that's not going to get synced. And the max folder size is 10 gigabytes. Now you might have more Salesforce file storage than 10 gigabytes, but per user, your Salesforce file folder can only be 10 gigabytes. So now I'm going to give you a quick demo of the Salesforce Files functionality. So here I have my Salesforce Files folder. You can see I have this PowerPoint I'm currently in here. And then if we come into our Salesforce organization and we go to Files, you get your normal filters here. And to quickly get to what is in your Salesforce Files folder, you just hit Synced filter, and they'll bring you right to what's here. If we just come over here and just grab any old file, and here you'll see that we're syncing it. And here you can see it came right into Salesforce. So that's very cool. Then it also makes it very easy to share with people. So if I share this with anyone in my organization, so let's say I shared it with Tom, and then Tom made an update to this file, I don't even have to go into Salesforce to find the updated version. It will go directly to my Salesforce Files folder on my desktop. So once I have that file in Salesforce Files, I never need to go anywhere else. It will always be the most up-to-date version that's in Salesforce. So if Tom edits the active hours file to add something, he has some more hours to put somewhere, I just open it up on my desktop and it'll be there. The quality of life improvements that have been made in this new release are, the big one is customizable price book entries. So anyone who's used Salesforce and has used price books knows that it can be a little frustrating and that they don't really do everything you want. And one of the big things is that you can't customize those price book entries up to this point. You could create custom price books, but that was pretty much deciding a name for it. Now, you can customize the price book entries fully. It's like any other standard object. It's like accounts or contacts. You can do validation rules. You can do workflow rules off of it. It will be very awesome. So that's a very, I've heard lots of buzz around that introduction of that feature. People are very happy with that. So anyone who's ever used price books, that's a great win. The inbound email size limit has finally been increased from 10 megabytes to 25 megabytes. For a long time it was 10 megabytes, and anyone who's receiving inbound emails knows that that can quickly exclude quite a few emails. So now anything up to 25 megabytes will totally be accepted into the system. A big one that I'm looking forward to that is also still a beta feature, so I'm very excited for this to become full, is improved setup search. So when you're in your setup menu and you're looking through Salesforce, you will currently only be able to search for, if you look up accounts, you'll see the area to customize accounts. Now when you go into Salesforce and do the setup search, when this beta becomes generally available, you'll be able to search for like a custom field, and that custom field will show up in the search. So that'll just make searching for anything custom, any configuration thing with your Salesforce organization much, much easier. So I'm looking forward for that to get out of beta. The limit on external IDs has been raised from 3 to 7 in Summer 14. So previously, you could only have 3 external IDs on a custom object. The system would not allow you to have more than that. Now you can have 7, so that just provides, since external IDs are used to integrate Salesforce with other systems, you could really only sync a Salesforce object with 3 other systems previously. Now you'll be able to sync it easily with up to 7. I mean, you could do creative tricks previously to sync it with more, but this will just make it much, much easier. The maximum length for long text and rich text fields has been increased from 32 kilobytes to 128 kilobytes. This is a magnitude of around 30,000 characters to 100,000 characters in terms of how much more information you can enter into these fields. So that will just allow, I mean, people aren't going to be writing novels in Salesforce, but if you need to enter a lot of information into a particular field, you'll now be able to do that. Finally, another big quality of life improvement is the query plan tool. This is going to be a big win for architects and developers. What the query plan tool is going to do is you enable this in the developer console preferences, and then when you type out a query into the query editor, as well as returning the results from that query, it will tell you how that query performs against Salesforce's internal query optimization. So when you do a SOQL query, Salesforce does its own optimizations against that query to make sure that it fetches all the information that you need it to fetch. This will tell you whether it's an index search and whether it's a full table search, as well as some other information. One moment. So that will allow you to know how you can improve that query going forward so that you can really have all the queries in your system running as quickly as and as efficiently as possible. All right, Chad. Those demos got that Outlook demo was supposed to go a little bit longer, but it didn't go as long as I anticipated. So that just about wraps out everything I have.
All right, thanks, Mark. So Mr. Efficiency is going to give back a little bit of time to everybody today, so that's awesome. I'm sure everybody would love a little more time in their day. We do have time, obviously, for a few questions here, so if you have any questions, please pop those into your GoToWebinar control panel right now. Mark, I know we do have a couple sitting in the queue, so the first one is, does the increase in the email limits include the headers?
It does. It includes the entire email message, so attachments, headers, actual message, the body of the message. So yeah, if a message is like on the cusp of 25 megabytes and the headers put it over that, it will still get rejected.
Okay. And then can I pick a different folder to sync my Salesforce files to?
Not with the Summer 14 release. It functions off of that Salesforce Files folder. That's how it locates the files that you need to sync.
Okay, great. Well, that's all seems like all the questions we have for today. So I do want to remind everyone that we'll be sending you a recorded version of today's webinar to watch for that in your email inbox. And if you want to continue to get inside tips and stay on top of news about Salesforce, we really encourage you to check out and subscribe to our Ledgeview Partners blog. As I mentioned at the start of this session, Mark's one of our main contributors and offers some really cool weekly tips and tricks to get more out of Salesforce and a lot of the reviews and previews of the releases such as the Summer 14. And if you're on social media, which nearly everybody is in one way or another, we'd love to have you connect with us. So check us out on places like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. We got some videos on YouTube. So finally, if you have any questions at all, need assistance or looking to expand your Salesforce functionality, give us a call here at Ledgeview. Thank you very much, and enjoy the new Summer 14 release from Salesforce.com. Thank you.